Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It feels like I have been gone for decades. So I have my trusty coffee with me today. For today's video, we're going to be doing two boxes. So I'm going to do June's box for you. I'm going to do July's box for you. And at the time of recording, I think it's August 14th, August's box has come in. Right? Like usually it's late. Like usually I don't get my boxes till the 27th of that month. So it's nice that it came in early. I'm going to get started on that one ASAP for you. But today we are going to be doing those two boxes. So I'm going to first feature June's box and then I'm going to show you July's box. So it's time to get back to inspiring and being inspired. So let's get to this video. This is a piece that I really enjoyed putting on. A lot of times I put on my own pieces to see how they're gonna sit when somebody else wears them. And when I put it on, I just fell in love. It's really a beautiful piece. These colors go great with the brass findings that you get in the box. So what I did was I beaded these two sides separately, and I used the 8mm round glass beads. That would be these ones here. This number 5 on your list. These are in magma, or alabaster magma. I used the 6mm Carnelian beads. These are number 8 on your list, and that's these ones here. Then I used the 8mm sardonyx beads. These ones are number 12 on your list. And then the 10mm matte electroplated agate beads, and that's these ones here. They are absolutely stunning. I just love the way some of the crystalline of the bead actually shows through after buffing. I think that's just really beautiful. And then I used my own 11-0 seed beads to put everything together. So this is actually quite an easy pattern. I'll put this up on my website for you, so if you guys want to actually do this pattern, it was just as simple as like just doing the first set of beads and then adding the next set of beads with 11-0 seed beads all the way across, and then adding another set of beads, just going back and forth and adding them all in, weaving them all in with the 11-0 seed beads. I did add the teardrop pendant afterwards. This is the 30 by 24mm Carnelian teardrop pendant that you get in the box. This is number 17. I absolutely love this stone. It's beautiful and it just goes well with everything. I just love the way that the beads, as they come down, they just shine a light basically on this teardrop pendant. I used my own half round brass wire. This is in 21 gauge, and made my loops as I normally do. Then I used the jump rings that came in the box, and these are number 3 on your list. 18 karat gold plated stainless steel jump rings. This is a 3 by 2mm stainless steel chain. This one is number 10 on your list. And then for the end, I also used my own toggle clasp to finish off the chain. And I forgot, when I did my bail here, I did add one of the spacer beads here. And this is number 6 on your list. So when I first saw this druzy pendant, I wasn't really sure if I liked it or not. I wasn't sure what to do with it. It just didn't really speak to me until I actually started thinking about how to use it in a pendant. I was actually going to use it in a bracelet, but I found that it was just a little bit too long, like too long this way to actually use in a bracelet. It was sticking, at least on my wrist anyway, it was sticking way out. So I thought, okay, it has to be a pendant, but actually it turned out really pretty. So this is the 51 by 23mm resin druzy geode slice, and it's in warm peach. This is number 15 on your list. All I did was string a bunch of beads and put them through this way and down under here. And so I used the freshwater pearls with the steel links, and I did one length of that with some chain. I used my own brass chain that I had from another box in the bag. There's not a lot of these in the box here, so I had to add chain to it to make it the same length as everything else. I used the gold finished pewter daisy spacers. That's number 6 on your list in here. I used the 9 by 7mm half matte glass cylinder beads, number 7 on your list. And these are in apricot shimmer. I'm going to use the 4mm crystal faceted beads in Lavender AB, and these are number 16 on your list. And then for this one here was the 6mm Carnelian beads, number 8 on your list. And then 8x6 faceted fancy rondelles. These are in Biscay. These are 9 on your list. And then of course the chain that comes with it, the 3x2mm stainless steel jewelry chain, number 10 on your list. And the jump rings to put everything together. 6mm jump rings in 18 karat gold plated, number 3 on your list. And then for this one here, I did use their 10x7mm 18 karat gold plated brass spring rings to finish off this necklace. And I added my 11 seed beads in between a lot of these beads. And then for the druzy part, I just added a little chain on the bottom of one of my string beads just to hold the other side where I wanted it to stay, because if you leave the bottom free, it'll kind of hang down this way. So that's what I did there. You can see that it looks really good when it's on the stand. It sits really nicely, and it's just, yeah, it turned out to be a very nice, unique piece. Another one of my favorite bracelets. It turned out really nice. I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. So what I did was I took a piece of my half round wire. Now this is a 12 gauge wire, so it's very, very thick. It's very, very hard wire, but it's half round wire in brass. First thing that I did was I took the 12 gauge wire and I took a long piece of it, bent it into a square for the length that I wanted it to be as a cuff bracelet, and then at the end bent it in and then twirled what was left over into like a design, so it closed it right off and it kept it in place. Now this is a very, very strong wire. You could almost compare this to memory wire. Not quite as hard as memory wire, but just as hard as memory wire, and this makes a very nice, beautiful, sturdy cuff bracelet. And all I did was I just started grabbing beads, and with my 21 gauge brass wire, this is round wire, what I did was started here and I twirled the wire around and bent it around this half round wire, and then just started twirling it for the actual design. I just kept it pretty much even as I twirled it around, and then started adding my beads. Having this already done, I could measure the beads as I was going and keep them pretty much even, and then I just wrap this around, go back down, and then just keep going this way and just adding beads. Any beads that I felt like adding in there, I just started doing that. Now I had originally planned to add more 21 gauge wire and fill up these little holes, like fill up these little spaces here, but actually it looks very organic. And then here you can see where I actually twirled some wire around here. What happened was I ran out of the 21 gauge, so I did a little loop-de-loop and then started my next piece right here with another loop-de-loop, and then just continued on. And that's how I kept going with the 21 gauge wire, because you don't want a really super long piece of 21 gauge wire to work with. Unfortunately, it will bend and break as you're working with it. The more you work with it, the less strength it keeps. So, and then at the end, did another twirl here, pressed it into the big 12 gauge wire, and then used my own brass wire from another box. The jump rings that came in our box, which is number 3 on your list. So these are 6mm 18 karat gold plated brass jump rings. And then the spring rings, number 1 on your list, that came in the box, just to finish it off and make sure that the cuff doesn't fall off your wrist. And it looks really pretty. It turned out really nice. And this wire, like I said, is very, very strong. I think the copper drop earrings actually turned out really beautiful. I love these. I mean, you could honestly just forego all of this stuff and just make you know, just make these into the earrings, but I had to add a little bit extra. So all I did was add a string of beads with 11 seed beads in between. These are the 4mm crystal faceted beads in Lavender AB. These are number 16 on your list with 11 seed beads. Attach them to this 19.5 by 17mm 18 karat gold plated brass chandelier findings. So these two here, I used the 17 by 18 stainless steel fishhook ear wires, number 2 on your list. This is number 11 on your list. And then of course the 18 by 21mm agate 18 karat gold plated copper drop. So I'm assuming the 18 karat gold plated is the wire that they had around there already. And then to finish it off, I added little teardrop brass findings that I had in my stash, just to fill up these little corners here. Okay, for July's Bargain Bead Box, they went with silver findings, which I was actually very happy about. I love silver findings. I love all findings, but silver seems to be one of my favorites. I just love wearing silver. Now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this pendant. I mean, for me, it was only one thing I could do, unless you're going to drill into the actual pendant and make it into something different. I didn't want to just add a jump ring to it and then add that to a necklace and call it a day. You know me, I always got to go a little bit further with my pieces. So this is the 51 by 53mm textured starfish pendant. This is number 3 in your July box. And what I did was I made my own bail. So now this is a bail that I made out of 11 seed beads. And then I used the 5mm mother of pearl beads. And in between that, used 11 seed beads in the color silvery brass. And then just finished my bail with those beads and then just added my bail, which just brings a whole new look to the pendant. And then I used the 8.5 by 8mm electroplated lava stone barrel beads. These are really cool. I think they look really nice. And then the 6 by 4mm freshwater shell beads in pale pink. And then between that, I added 5 11 seed beads on either side, just to separate the beads a little bit. And then I used the textured chain. This is 4 by 3mm textured steel chain, and this one was number 8 on your list. And the 21 by 16.5mm pebbled textured toggle clasp. These are really cool. I love the way that these look. And then used my own jump rings to put everything together. So my flower pendant motif, I really struggled with this piece actually because of these beads right here. They are absolutely stunning beads, but I really had a tough time. I was actually trying to do 3 of these beads in a design instead of all 5 of them, but it wasn't working out. I had tried to redo the piece a couple of times with 3. It wasn't working out, so I had to use all of them. So they came with 5 in here. So these are the 10 by 11mm synthetic coral scallop beads, and I love these. In this piece, they just look absolutely stunning. So this is actually the front here. This is the front, this is the back. Now you could wear it like that if you wanted to, or you could wear it on the side if you wanted to. I just thought they made really beautiful textured addition, just peeking through these beads here. So I used my 4 by 3mm crystal rondel in rondel beads in alabaster. That would be these ones here. That's number 4 on your list. 8mm crystal rondel in turquoise. That's these ones here. Number 5 on your list. The 8mm polished seashell beads. That's number 7 on your list here. And then to have something in the middle to finish it all off, I used the 11mm synthetic coral fluted melon bead, and this is number 12 on your list. I only used 1. And then the 6 by 4mm freshwater shell beads in pale pink. So that's these ones here. And these are number 19 on your list. And basically all I did was created a motif. Now I do have a PDF for this particular motif if you want it. I will be putting it up on my website. And I just turned it into a pendant. Now you could use this maybe as a brooch if you have somebody that loves a brooch, if you have the brooch finding to put on the back. Even a hair clip would be nice. It's not a very heavy piece and it does look really pretty. So you just have to decide which side that you would actually want to the top. But I mean, this here looks really nice too. And I had to use my own chain from my own stash. Now this I got from BeadFX online, and then I used a lobster claw clasp to finish it all off. If anybody has ever worked with aluminum wire, it is a lot of fun. Now I know it seems a little bit soft when you first begin, but what I did was after I got it into the horseshoe shape that I wanted, I hammered it out here and I hammered it out here, which toughens it right up. It just makes it solid so that it'll stay in one place. So what I did was I added a bunch of different lengths of beads on here with my half round silver wire and just put a bunch of different ones on there. I included one of the 22.5mm Starfish Charms. I also included the 13x18 shell and starfish link in there, as well as the 10x11mm hand carved shell drops. These are number 11 on your list. This is number 13 on your list. The shell starfish link, and the starfish charm is number 2 on your list. And all I did was I just put a whole bunch of beads on there, and this one's sitting backwards, so this would be a perfect opportunity to show you how this works. So I used one of the ends of the toggle clasp that comes in the box here, and just to finish it off, to make a decoration, I just added the other hand-carved shell drop on there, and then used my jump rings, so 3 here and 3 here. Now 3 just added a little bit of stability to the piece. I didn't want it to come apart. 1 jump ring is just, to me, it's not enough. 3 is great. And what I did was I closed off this loop here. So after I had it all hammered out, I pressed it in and closed it off on this side. This side, I left about 1 centimeter of space so that you can take this off here. And then you can add whatever type of beads that you want to put on there. So if you want it to be really, really long and you want your string of beads to be really long, you can do that. So let's do this properly because I think I added this guy wrong. He's backwards. And as you can see, it's very easy to add your beads to. Take them on, take them off. But once they're on and it's hanging, like once you're wearing it, these beads will not come off of there, and this will not move either. If I can get them all in there. There we go. And that's the way it's worn. And I find it to be a very unique looking piece. Aluminum will never change color. It'll always stay like that, and it turns out beautiful. And if you have a hammer that has texture on it, definitely give it a try, hammer it out, see what you think, because even texture looks really gorgeous in here. But I find it to be a unique and airy piece for summertime. I used their 4x3mm textured steel chain. That's number 8 on your list. And that's what it turned out looking like. I think it turned out neat. I really like this piece. It's very different. This here will be a really nice piece to wear for summertime. It's just beautiful. The pinks, the whites, the blues, the seashells, the starfish, everything just screams summer to me with this piece. I used the textured chain that came in the box, and I put 9 links. I cut 9 links out, so there's 9 links and a jump ring, 9 links and a jump ring. So there's 7 of the larger jump rings, plus on either side, another 9 links out of the chain, and then 1 smaller, a little more durable jump rings. Now these 2 jump rings came from my own stash. They're a little bit thicker than these ones, but these ones are actually really thick as well. I wanted to use a really thick jump ring to make sure everything stayed together, since most of this necklace is actually put together with chain and jump rings. And then same as the last horseshoe pendant that I made, and I just used wire and started adding just lengths of beads. So this one here, I used the star bead caps, #1 on your list. The polished seashell beads, #7 on your list. That's this white one here. The cube beads, aren't these beautiful? These are the 6x8mm frosted weathered agate cube beads. I think these are absolutely gorgeous and definitely looks like something you'd see on a beach during the summertime. 9 on your list. And then the freshwater shell beads in pale pink, #19 on your list. And I did 4 like that with my half round wire and made loops at the top, getting them ready for the next jump rings I was going to add. And then for these ones here, I used the synthetic turquoise starfish beads. These are #6 on your list. And then the shell and starfish links. Now for these beads here, I had to use half round wire to create a loop to add to the link on the top of it, which is the shell and starfish link. Now these are 13 on your list. These are #6 on your list. And again, added those to the jump rings that I had in there already. And then I just made 2 little ones here to finish it off at the top on either side. And honestly, this is something I would love to wear for summertime. Then used my own stainless steel chain that I had in my stash from Bead FX and a lobster claw clasp to finish it all off. So if you're not sure about what to do with a lot of beads that you have, you can never go wrong with memory wire bracelets. So I made 3 different bracelets. This is the triple bracelet that I made here. So these little starfish beads just sit freely. They move freely on either side of the bracelet. The middle they don't attach to. I made 3 bracelets. Now these 2 are exactly the same. This one was made with slightly different beads, but they were all made the same length. And I just added beads in here and then tube beads to separate them because I wanted the tube beads to be holding the loops and the starfish that I had made. So I put 3 free moving starfish beads on here, which move freely on the bracelet where the tube beads are. So for this one here, it was the 7.5mm star bead caps, the 22.5mm starfish charms, which I added with my half round silver wire and a couple of jump rings. The 4x3mm crystal rondel in alabaster, that'd be these ones. The 14mm synthetic starfish beads in turquoise, so that'd be this one here. So I added 1 here. The 8mm crystal rondels in turquoise, these ones here. The 6x8mm frosted weather agate cubes, these ones here. The 5mm mother of pearl, these ones, these small ones right in there. And the 11mm synthetic coral fluted melon beads. So that's the melon beads I used right in the middle of the bracelet. So just on this one here. And your 14mm starfish beads, that's these ones here. And the 8x5 by 8mm electroplated lava barrel bead. And I had 1 left, so I put it right there. And the 22.5mm starfish charm, I added the other one to this bracelet. And I'm putting everything together with my larger jump rings to hold the end of the bracelet, each end of the bracelet together. Something comfortable and pretty and airy to wear to the beach. For the double bracelet, I pretty much did the same thing, just started adding beads with 2 beads in the middle, with the 2 beads between each sequence of beads, and then I just added the 13x18mm shell and starfish link that I had left. This is number 13 on your list. This is the only one I had left, so I just put it in there, and again, it is free moving. And I added those with jump rings on either side on the 2 bead area. And basically I just grabbed what beads I kind of had left and just started making a sequence of beads. And then for the single bracelet, I used same thing again. I used my 2 beads, put a sequence of beads on, 2 bead, sequence of beads on and then squished the two beads so that they made a nice little textured look. I believe I did this last year on one of my bracelets, and I think that looks really pretty. And it keeps these beads all in place. Even if there is a little bit of movement, it'll keep those beads in place. This one overlaps slightly. I wanted it to overlap a little bit more, especially if you want to wear it by itself. You don't want it falling off. So just overlapping it a bit just makes it a little more sturdy. And the nice thing is these bracelets can all be worn together. So you can wear it as one large bracelet, or one at a time, or whatever you want. When I saw these beads right here, I tried them in a pendant. I was going to do them in a bracelet and nothing was working. So I kind of put them aside and decided I'll wait until I get down to the nitty-gritty of stuff that was left and I'll decide what I'm going to do. And finally I came up with these really beautiful long earrings. Now they're not very heavy. This is not a heavy earring, so if you like wearing long earrings but you don't want them to drag your ear down, these are really good. So I used the synthetic starfish beads. These are number 6 on your list, these blue ones here. And the 26 by 29 millimeter carved shell pendants, so that's these ones here. The 6 by 4 millimeter freshwater shell beads in pale pink, that's this one here. So you can see the bead is right in there. And then the 34 by 9 millimeter two-tone agate oval bead, and this is in the color cream. And what I did was I took a really long piece, my half round silver wire. This is in 21 gauge, and I believe I cut a piece that was about 13 to 14 inches long. I doubled it over, and then I started from here. So I put that wire through this bead, through this seashell, come around, added this bead here, come up through here, did a loop so I could add my ear wire, and then just foiled it around this bead twice, foiled it around that bead once, and then I pulled it around the bottom of the freshwater shell bead just to finish it off in the back. And actually it turned out really pretty. Like, this is a very unique looking earring. And it's very sturdy. Like I said, very light to wear. I have put them on already to see how they I already did put them on to see how they would feel, and yeah, they turned out really pretty. So these beads here actually really baffled me. I didn't really like these all that much. These are the 14 by 15 millimeter handmade lampwork glass Nautilus beads. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with these, but eventually I knew that they had to be earrings. They're very thick bead, or at least this one is. This one here is a little bit thinner. I don't mind that they're not exactly the same. I don't mind that organic look. But when I tried it on a bracelet, I tried it on a pendant, I just really wasn't impressed with the bead itself. I put it into the earrings here, and actually they don't look too bad, and they actually make a nice little summertime earring. I used the 4 by 3 millimeter textured steel chain. This is number 8 on your list. And then at the bottom, to finish it off and make sure that it would stay where it was put, because these have quite big holes in here. Like, this bead has quite a big hole. So I had to use a 4 by 3 millimeter crystal rondo bead. This is number 4. And I used my half round wire to pull the bead through, hold it at the bottom, and make my loop at the top and add the chain. They're very light. They do look cute when you do wear them. So if you guys have those, let me know what you decided to do with your lampwork beads. I'm really curious to see what other people are doing with these two particular beads. So I only had a couple of these starfish beads left. So what I did was something I do a lot, is use memory wire, put the beads on there, bend it into the shape that I want, curl it at the end, add some jump rings and an ear wire, and you are done. These are like a 5-minute earring. They're nothing to do, and they look really pretty. This is something I like to wear. Very airy, open. breezy, beachy type of earrings, very light, and they look so pretty. You know, if you like a bigger earring, these are a little bit bigger, but very, very light to wear. And I thought they went perfect with every piece that was made here today. These are the perfect little earrings to wear to the beach. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know in the comments below which pieces you like the best, which ones you guys are planning to try. I am going to go on my Instagram and start letting everybody know when the designs become available on my website. I think that's just easier. So if you don't know what my Instagram is, I will leave it here for you. I will also leave my website here for you so you can go have a look. There's a lot of patterns that I'm going to be adding now that the weather is starting to cool down. I'm going to be in my studio a lot more. Yay! So you guys have a great day, and I would love to see you back here for my next one. Bye!